Do you know how much money we spent on COVID relief? I bet you don't know. $6 trillion. It's a lot of money. And it turns out not a lot of it went to COVID relief. States just pocketed the cash for their little pet projects. And the AP did a little investigation into how Pelosi wasted our money. Are you ready for this? $12 million for COVID relief went to renovate a minor league ballpark in New York, probably where Chuck Schumer's kids play ball. $6 million of COVID relief fixed up some golf courses in Colorado. And $2 million of COVID relief bought some ski slopes in Iowa because, skiing defeats the virus. And if this wasn't enough, you ready? $5 million of COVID relief went towards korfball. Do you know what korfball is? I have no idea. It's for the 2022 World Games in Alabama. Does Alabama even know what korfball is? I don't think so. I think it's like gender neutral ultimate frisbee, but we're still trying to figure it out. DC took $2.5 million in COVID relief and hired more parking ticket officers. That's right. More parking tickets. What that has to do with COVID relief, I don't know. St. Louis used $1 million in COVID relief to pay off other people's child support. Millions and millions of COVID cash spent on things that have nothing to do with COVID. But for some reason, Pelosi wants to spend more money on COVID, more of our money, more of our tax dollars. Larry Kudlow is the host of Kudlow on Fox Business, and he's here tonight. Larry, I've never seen you without a tie. It's shocking, but casual Larry, I like this look. So how does casual Larry feel about all this money wasted on korfball and skiing in Iowa?
That $2 trillion bill that was signed a year ago, from which these pet projects were spent, you know what that thing did? It generated about a 10% inflation rate. All that spending increased demand and did nothing for the economy and did nothing at all for COVID. In fact, Jesse, if you go back to all the relief bills, and you were talking about this, roughly $6 trillion, less than 10% went to COVID-related stuff, okay, which is really a tragedy in a way if you think about it. And actually, $800 billion of the $6 trillion has never been spent. It remains unspent.
And one other thing. $800 billion?
Yes, sir. $800 billion. This is from the Committee for a Responsible Budget. It's a good outfit, Maya McGinnis, and I've quoted her many times. Listen to this one. Of all the unemployment insurance money that was spent, particularly in this last round, $165 billion was spent fraudulently on people who were not unemployed or had the wrong name. And in fact, we found out it went to people who were in Mexico, people who were in China, people who were in Asia. I mean, it's really a tragedy. And this is what happens.
We sent COVID relief money to the Chinese.
Well, yeah, some of the benefits of those so-called COVID bills went to the Chinese. Actually, Jesse, in a way, because of the overstimulus of demand, we really helped China because we bought a lot of Chinese goods with the money that was given to us by the U.S. government. I mean, this is what happens. The left loves to spend, okay? Couple of problems with that. Number one, it generates huge inflation. And right now, the Federal Reserve has not done a thing to stop 10% inflation, which is killing average working folks. They're getting wages that are negative after inflation. Number two, the government isn't capable of doing these things. There's no accountability. I mean, one of the stories from that AP thing was that they basically laundered money from one account to another account and then turned around and spent it on this luxury hotel in South Florida. Now, Jesse, I'm not against luxury hotels. I'd like to have you have an executive, big executive suite in those hotels, but I just don't want the taxpayers to pay for it. With your success, you can afford to do this by yourself. So all this spending was a very bad idea. It's called lose, lose, lose.
I just can't believe we paid China for killing us with COVID. But I kind of do believe it. I kind of do. Larry Kudlow, casual Larry Kudlow. Thank you so much.
Save America, kill the bill.
Time for some text messages. Dave, Butler, Pennsylvania. If the Russians pulled out today and the war was over, who's going to pay to rebuild Ukraine? We are, of course. I mean, not we. I mean, contractors who Biden knows. War is good for business. We all know that. Carol, Texas. I'm scratching my head that Biden's approval ratings are in the 30s. Who are those people? I think I've interviewed some of them on the street. Troy, I've solved the fuel crisis. Put Hunter Biden on a board of directors of a major American oil company and pay him a salary. Problem solved. Put him on the board of Keystone. You get that pipeline right up and running. That's all for us tonight. Tucker Carlson tonight is up next. And always remember one thing. I'm Waters, and this is my world.